It was underwear.
Yo!
It was underwear.
What? Alright, the children's TV show with a dark secret. Let's lock in. That's just you, Castle. You might have an STD, Brody.
No doubt I'll have a picture on the front page of every newspaper in the country, right, Ron?
It's 8 a.m. sharp on a Saturday morning in 1979. Families in the Tampa Bay area turn on their television.
Why the fuck is this shit in Tampa? Like, what the fuck? Why the fuck this shit had to happen in Tampa, bro? Like, I guess they just found their fucking target audience.
Sets as thousands of sleepy children awake on their day off from school. Some flip to Nickelodeon, where a rerun of Pinwheel is playing. Some flip to ABC, where they would catch the final episode of a short-lived TV series called Fangface. However, that morning, others would opt for a more virtuous wake-up call, flipping the station instead to channel 22, or the Christian Television Network, where a new show was opening the day's slate. A show called
Bro, I would not watch
the
any
show
of
Joy
these,
Junction
bro. Like, what the
quickly
fuck
found its
is
place in
this?
the hearts of viewers, with kids immediately connecting with the quirky characters and silly games. Their Christian parents, too, found solace in the show's themes and non-offensive stories.
Bro, I feel like anything like Christian, like, related type shit is always, like, deeper than what it is, bro. I don't know. I always be hearing about these crazy stories of churches and how the priests and the pastors be, like, loitering the money or just doing heinous shits in the churches, bro. I don't know.
Experienced together as a whole family. From that day on, families all across Florida and eventually across the entire United States came to enjoy the program, which continued on for a run of over 20 long years. Until one Saturday morning at 8 a.m. sharp, when, without explanation, the show came to an unceremonious end and was never broadcast again.
Damn, shit didn't last for...
Today,
For
the
a
show
few
and
months,
all
bro.
official records of it have been scrubbed from the internet, with the companies behind its creation and the networks that aired it acting as if it never even existed. Some allegedly going
They
as
trying to
far
brush
as to
something
destroy
under
any
the
remaining
rug, bro.
copies, thanks solely to the heinous events that transpired during and after its television run. This is the story of Joy Junction, the children's TV show with an unimaginably dark secret.
What if they were on some Dan Schneider kind of activities?
Come and join us for a half hour of
That's like
fun
the
and games
seventh
at
oral
Joy
fucking
Junction.
commercial
Now
you had,
here's
bro.
Sheriff Don.
Thank you, and welcome to this fun little town of Joy Junction.
Both
Like,
the
I don't
name of
even
the
know,
show
bro. He gives me weird vibes. Like, just why he look like that.
Town
Like,
of Joy Junction.
why he look like that, though? Like,
Joy Junction was both the name of the show and the name of the fictional town in which it was focused. A town where numerous characters converged to tell stories, play games, and answer questions, all of which pertaining to
The
Christianity.
puppet was touching the kids.
Each
How much you
episode
wanna
followed
bet?
the same basic structure. They were 30 minutes long and would tackle one general lesson taught in the Bible and tell it through an acted-out story. This was then interspersed with various games and audience participation, as the show heavily leaned on including its young fan base and immersing them in the world of Joy Junction. They even had a live studio audience for every episode, comprised of kids ages 3 to 13.
bro,
with a
I'll never be buying those live audience ass shits, bro. I feel like that should be so cap. I don't know. I've never
participants and
believed in
crowd
them
genuinely
shits.
seeming excited to be there, which was largely due to its lovable cast of
Shit,
characters.
shit's gotta be pre-recorded.
The most prevalent of these was Sheriff Don, who was actually played by the creator of the show itself, Don McAllister.
And the whole gang is here, so we're going to have us a good time today. Glad you could join us for the next 30 minutes.
He guided the show from segment to segment and often focused on the Bible while driving home the episode's central theme, while also being the one who most often interacted with the children who participated in the show. Then there was Forrest Padley, a soft-spoken professor.
Nah, this nigga just looks like he's up to no good, bro. I don't know. They meant people watching without bloopers. Yeah, but I know like it's live. Like, I don't know, but like that just always just seems so fake to me.
Who, ironically, often had lessons taught to him due to his obvious clueless nature.
It's your bubble. He'll even help when you did wrong.
Well, I'm not a pope, but how about he'll even help when you're in trouble?
Hey, Sheriff Don, you're a poet too.
And of course, the fan favorite, Whittler Dan, a caricature of a southern farmer known as the goofy storyteller of the group.
Good, yeah. Oh, hi. I'm just sitting here reading some of the mail from Joy Junction and some of the jokes in here. Would you like me to read?
That dumbass meet LeBron shit.
That's good, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you want me to read it? Yeah.
But of all the characters to come from Joy Junction, there was one or two, who were by far the most popular, yet polarizing. Ron and Marty. Played by professional ventriloquist Ronald Williams, Ron and Marty were far and away the most memorable characters for obvious reasons too. Many children watching at home found the duo, and Marty specifically, to be off-putting, even horrifying,
Now that
with some
puppet look
claiming that
weird
the
as
doll
hell.
gave them nightmares and was just too creepy to look at, causing many to stop watching the show altogether. But despite this, others found the duo to be hilarious and entertaining,
Bro, Spaz,
tuning
you
in
don't
week
got
after
no-
week
no
just to see
Roblox
them
shit like me,
perform.
nigga.
For the viewers, it was a love
Bro, I just don't got no
relationship
motherfucking
with Ron and
Robux,
Marty.
and I ain't
But
buying
even
none,
so,
bro.
it was impossible to dismiss their impact on the show. They appear in every single episode that we have available today, and they were often tasked with teaching the children some of the series' most
good,
important
Pikachu?
lessons. Lessons like not to cuss,
It seems like I'm hearing a lot of swear words. All the kids are using swear words these days.
Yeah, bro, that puppet looks like if I were to talk to bro, he would call me the meanest hard R in the existence of hard R's, bro. Like, that nigga looks fucking insane, bro.
And I'm afraid one of them's gonna slip out of my mouth. First of all, why don't you try immediately praying and asking the Lord to take those bad words and thoughts out of your mind? Say, that's a good idea.
practicing self-control,
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I be cursing like a sailor.
Self-control.
We just locked in, twin.
Well, I don't think my self-control works. It must be broken. Well, no, Marty. I don't think
want the SpongeBob,
anybody
the first
can
one way
practice
better.
self-control all by themselves. But if you'll just ask the Lord to help you, He will.
defeating bad thoughts,
Hearts will cause good words and thoughts to come out of our mouths. It's almost so, Marty, as if our mouths will overflow.
Alright, so why the show get, like, shut down, though?
Very careful about what we put in our minds and our hearts, Marty. That's for sure.
and most controversially,
Ron, they were looking
Dirty
at some
pictures.
dirty pictures, and they wanted me to look too. Well, Marty, what did you
What
do?
the fuck is this show about? I thought it was
Look,
about...
guys, I like you a
God.
lot, and I want to play with you, but I can't look at those pictures. I just can't do it.
Like, how
whether it
did
was the
that...
lessons they taught,
Wait,
or
bro.
Marty's blatant uncanniness, these two characters were the most vividly remembered part of the show.
It's bad,
And
that shit
this
was
is
not funny,
important,
dude.
as these memories are essentially all we've been left with.
You're still covered with that darkness and with that sin. And when we say He'll wash us as white as snow, that's referring to the sin that's within us.
Joy Junction is classified today mainly as lost media. No official copies of the show have ever been published by its creators or the networks that owned it. It just kind of ended one day and was never talked about again by those involved with the project. And this lack of archiving stretches past just the media itself. If you were to look online for information on the show today, you would find next to nothing.
The
There's
fuck?
no Wikipedia page, no actors, producers, or directors.
Shit, but niggas talking about
mentioning
not
their
safe for work and
history
shit
or
like
on
that.
their
What the fuck were they
resumes.
doing on that
There's no
show?
official website. There's essentially nothing. Not even so much as an official date in which the show started and ended, despite the fact that the show apparently ran for
So then, Nick, how'd you get all this fucking information, buddy? If there's nothing to be found on here, how come you have a whole video related to everything on here? You ever thought about that, buddy? You did your research, huh? You found something. You're just gatekeeping the information.
for 20 long years.
Don't ask his
We know for
sources.
sure
Hey,
that the
bro,
show aired on
just
CTN
wondering.
in the 1980s, specifically in the Tampa Bay area, before it was later syndicated and broadcast across the country on channels such as TBN,
What's good,
and
Henry?
Shadow of a Child. But today,
Yo, it's
none
no
of these
longer a
networks
Hey
mention
Stratus
the show
stream if
having
Henry
ever
doesn't
aired
pop
their
in, bro.
lineups, and none
Henry
of them
makes
have
every
ever
stream
provided
better.
an explanation as to why the show was pulled from the air. The only reason we even know anything about it is thanks to old recordings and VHS tapes captured
Ah,
by
he
those who
answered my
once enjoyed the
question.
show. With a few dozen episodes and some short clips from the series having made their way to YouTube in recent years, essentially
Nigga,
serving
short
as the only
clips.
surviving
That's the whole fucking franchise right there, bro. That's season 1, 2, 3, and 4.
of Joy Junction. Because of this, the show is largely a mystery, and information is incredibly scarce and hard to come by. But after
I
doing
try
some
my best,
digging,
Henry.
I was able to find some mentions of it in old newspapers printed nearly 45 years ago.
Damn!
It did shed a bit of light on the context surrounding its creation. The first mention of Joy Junction came in 1978
Damn!
in the Evening Independent, though at this point it was not even a television show yet. Instead, advertisements were placed in the paper weekly for the
The fuck?
Faith Community Church in Largo, Texas, that mentioned including some sort of in-person act specifically
actually
for
top
children,
three.
called Joy Junction. It's unclear what this performance actually entailed, but coincidentally, just 1 year later, the show
There's a
Joy
white
Junction
Dorito
would begin
bag?
filming in Largo, Florida.
What flavor would
with
that
these
be?
original performances likely serving as the inspiration and the basis for the show itself.
Probably was like
Following
white
this trail
cheddar
of
bullshit,
newspapers,
huh?
I also found that the show was created by a company called WCLF,
Or like
which began
some
broadcasting
ranch
back
and
in
pizza
October
shit.
of 1979, with the founder of the company vaguely mentioning Joy Junction as an upcoming project. And sure enough, 1 week later, that same paper included a television guide that mentioned Joy Junction showing on TV for the very first time, giving us its likely premiere date of November 10th, 1979. Aside from this, I was able to confirm that the show did in
My
fact
bag is
play
straight
all across
nasty.
the United
Lagoon
States
bag.
and wasn't limited to just Florida,
It's alright, my cousin
which might be why
had me
finding an
trying.
exact
Which
date
one,
on
the
when show ended
Blazing
has
Buffalo?
proven essentially impossible.
It was good, chaotic.
But the most common belief across the internet is that the show lasted until somewhere around 2004, putting its lifespan at a surprising 25 years, which makes it all the more unusual that there's hardly any mention of it online, and
about
that
to
there was
say.
seemingly no attempt to ever even archive it.
25 years?
It
Niggas
seems as
ain't
if
got
the
shit on
parties
this?
involved didn't just drop the show and forget about it. They completely washed their hands of it and tried their best to bury it. There are even rumors circulating that CTN themselves had all their remaining copies set on fire and destroyed so that the show would
Damn!
forever be forgotten. And when you consider everything that happened, this isn't really all that surprising.
But what
is
made it
surprising
bad?
is
Did
the
I miss
extent
that?
of the unraveling and the way in which it began, as it all started with a simple water bottle.
Bro, raid? Somebody was drinking on set? Or somebody roofied somebody's water bottle? What do y'all think happened, chat? I'm going with the Bill Cosby method. Somebody got Bill Cosby, bro.
The discovery was made, just that it was a terrible one. Police arrest a man under the suspicion of distributing CP, only to find numerous images depicting it on his hard drive.
Bro, bro, I know I was joking earlier, but I said a nigga got caught with 6 terabytes of fucking CP. In this video, it came true,
Just
bro.
that it was a terrible one. Police arrest a man under the suspicion of distributing CP, only to find numerous images depicting it on his hard drive.
Yo,
with the
niggas
vast
is
majority of the
nasty.
victims involved being impossible to identify, except for one. Within the background of one of the images lay a hidden clue. A water bottle displaying the name of a swim and scuba school in Johnson County, Kansas.
Yo, imagine you one of them weird ass niggas and the detective sees a picture, not seeing any faces, and sees a fucking water bottle, and that's how you got caught, nigga. Yo, what the fuck? That's actually kind of crazy.
City. Police did a search of the area. He was immediately arrested.
Oh
Afterwards,
no, whatever the
the
fuck that
extent of
nigga
his
did, he
crime
did it, bro.
was-
He did it. He just looked like a nigga that be having CP in his shit.
Michael was immediately
Oh, Swindler, my mom
arrested,
said we ain't doing that
after
shit,
which
bro.
the true extent of his crime
Instead,
would
she
be
wants to do
uncovered
spicy
on his
noodles.
home
That's what Lana
computers.
said.
They contained countless photographs and
Lana
videos
gave her,
depicting the same
some
disturbing
ammunition.
material, including a great deal that was produced by Michael himself. The contents of these images are genuinely some of the most appalling I've ever heard described, though we'll get more into that later, because there is something more relevant to this video that they found on his device. It was a lengthy online chat history with a man named Ronald Brown.
Bro, so not only is this nigga a fucking CP hoarder, he gay.
And Ron, you're not one to talk. You're always on the telephone, too. Well, I guess you've got a point there, Marty.
Oh yeah, he's
Ronald's
nasty.
life was centered around three things: ventriloquism, Christianity, and children. His primary job was working as a traveling puppeteer.
I don't
with a
trust
show
any
called
nigga that like
Puppets
to hang
Plus,
around kids,
working
bruh.
school events, birthday parties, and at local malls. He also hosted a weekly puppet show for his local congregation that he billed as being specifically for children.
Yeah, nah,
and of course,
bruh.
he had his role on Joy Junction.
I don't trust any
Every
nigga that like
aspect
being
of his
around
life
kids
brought him in
for
close proximity to
an unbelievable
children.
amount of
And as
time.
it turns out, there were several undisclosed incidents that raised serious red flags about this. The first incident occurred in 1998, at a time when Joy Junction was still believed to be in circulation across TV stations. Brown was driving home late one evening when a police officer pulled him over for speeding. The officer shined his light in the car as Ronald reached for his documents, only for his light to catch something unusual stuck between the seat cushions. It was underwear. It was
Yo!
underwear.
What? Yo, niggas is sick, bruh. Bro, it's so crazy how regular, like, speeding checks always end up to be a nigga's downfall. That's how Jeffrey Dahmer got fucking caught, bro. Like, what the
The
fuck?
alarming nature
Niggas
of
get
this,
pulled over
Ronald
and
would
they're
end up
cooked.
convincing the officer that nothing strange was going on, claiming that the old pair of briefs merely belonged to his puppet, Marty. That night, Ronald was allowed to drive away without further questioning.
Yeah, nah, niggas
Though
putting
things get stranger from
underwear on
here,
their puppets, bro.
Around the
Be
time
for
of this
real.
encounter, Ronald had been living in a home conveniently located less than a block away from a popular playground. And upon moving into this home, neighbors began to complain of Ronald's relationship with young children in the area. Every Wednesday, kids from around the block would ride their scooters and their bikes over to his house for free pizza.
What? Yo, we lure niggas into the house with free pizza?
The group would eventually emerge from the home, and Ronald would drive them in his van to a nearby church, where he would supposedly perform his ventriloquism. These weekly meetups were strange.
Nah, he was using the kids' buttholes as motherfucking puppets, bruh. Nah, gang. I can't.
To say the least, especially because they were allegedly fairly secretive, with some children even sneaking off to meet the man without telling their parents. There were even other allegations that Ronald himself had hid their bikes underneath his home, almost as if he was trying to avoid any suspicion. And although I couldn't find concrete proof of this, it was rumored that when neighbors checked underneath his home, they reported not only finding these bikes, but used sex toys as well.
What? Bro, that shit is so... nigga. Bro, that shit pissed me off, bro.
Otherwise. But the red flags here are glaring. Red flags that seemingly went ignored, as people bought into Ronald's act as a God-fearing, silly ventriloquist. Though in reality, the chats found on the computer of Michael Arnett shattered this
Niggas be having
perception in the most
skeletons in their
dramatic
closet,
way
boy. That
imaginable.
shit is fucking sick.
Though even so, these chats aren't what you would expect. No, somehow they are much, much worse.
Bro, what is worse than... Okay. Brief excerpt from Ronald and Michael's chat logs. Due to the graphic nature of these messages, I don't feel comfortable reading them out loud. Ronald Brown. I would have time to do it today if I only had him. Yeah. I would have been up all night enjoying him. I'm sure telling him all about what his... Nigga, this is about a little kid, by the way. Okay, bruh. Like, what's good, KB and J Baba? I imagine his eyes would ready to bug out. Wet with tears, so scared and helpless. So these niggas was R-wording the kids, nigga. They was R-wording the kids and they were happy about that shit, bro. Get these niggas life. You know what actually killed them, bring them back to life and kill them again? What the fuck is wrong with niggas, bro? Probably trembling, trying to imagine his body being cut up and eaten.
Within their conversations were numerous messages between the two men, fantasizing about not only killing children, but eating them as well.
Calf Keeper 2. That would be nice if you give him choices, all which end in him being cut. Yo, there's just no fucking way, bro. We got cannibals, bro. Child predators, R-wordists, and cannibals. Okay.
With most of the messages being far too vile to discuss or even show in this video. And this wasn't just fascination, it was obsession.
A nice weekend meal? I would like to look at the meat when I'm home too. Plan out some cuts.
Had even found a child at his church that he frequently discussed wanting to eat, mentioning that he would be the perfect feast for Easter.
What the fuck?
Describing how he would like to end his life and to consume his body. And this went far past
wiggling
just
and then going
Brown had
still.
taken photos of the child from afar and had actually been formulating a plan to kidnap him. He had even sent a photo of the child with black lines drawn.
I think he might be small enough to take down easily. Love to, of course.
On over it to show the various spots in which Ronald wanted to butcher him. This was all supported by his friend Michael too, who himself claimed to have eaten multiple children.
Hey, yo, he was looking too good in his last pick that I got. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, these niggas got it, bro. These niggas is dead sick, bro.
All supported by his friend Michael too,
A TV
who
show
himself
called
claimed
Joy
to have
Johnson.
eaten multiple children, with a man even sending a photo of a 2-year-old girl.
Did she taste good? She did. She made a sweet little oven roast. What was the best part? A light patch fuzz of her red hair left on her head when she went in.
Girl that was seen inside of a pot, inside of an oven. And this wasn't the end of the shocking discoveries either, as things were made.
What the fuck? We got Dahmer clones, nigga. But just with children.
Even worse, upon
Just
investigators
with children.
searching into Ronald's username, UE Lime. In doing so, they discovered an account on a website called cutedeadguys.net, which was and is a forum for sharing images of the dead between those who fetishize corpses. And within
These are real fucking sites?
his account, Ronald stated that he was
Nah,
one of
this
these
was, like,
people
old as
too,
fuck.
admitting
Yeah,
that he loved the sight of dead boys ever since he was a young man. And he wasn't lying either. Upon these revelations, Ronald's home was raided, where police would find
Nah, curiosity for the kill the cat,
these
bro. What was that
people
website
too,
name?
admitting that he loved corpses, and which was
Cute dead guy. Nah, I
and
need
is
to
a
type in
forum
that
for
shit.
sharing
That
images
shit-
of the dead between
Hell
those
nah,
who
bro.
fetishize corpses.
Never mind.
And within his account, Ronald stated that he was one of these people too, admitting that he loved the sight of dead boys
What
ever
the
since he was a young
fuck,
man.
bro?
And he wasn't lying either. Upon
Yo,
these
chat,
revelations,
somebody,
Ronald's
look it
home
up
was
for me,
raided,
bro.
where police would find over 200 images containing CP, which didn't even include
But
the
don't-
hundreds of
don't do
others
shit.
showing tied-up
Don't do
children,
shit to me.
children being abused, and children that appeared to be
You
dead.
get creeped out, bro.
Along with this, police also found a blow-up sex doll in the home that was dressed in little boy's clothing, and inside one of his sock drawers was another hard drive with images of countless dead children, as well as a single flyer for a missing child in the area. He also had hundreds of images of a young boy named Andrew, who had attended Brown's church and youth group, with the boy having died of a brain tumor years before.
Hey, no, fuck that, bro.
Showed
They
the
should have
boy
done some fucking brain work on those two weird ass niggas, bro. Cause what the
a
fuck?
slow physical decline, all the way until his memorial
You
service.
can put on the watch list. I'm not.
You know,
that shit
Don, you
up,
have
bro.
to invite Jesus Christ to come into your heart and ask him to forgive you of your sin.
Yep. That
Upon his
nigga did
arrest,
it.
Ronald Brown admitted to everything. He truly did want to eat the child he had been eyeing up at his church, along with many others over the years.
Yo,
Though
you
after
wanna know
saying
what's
this,
so
he claimed that he
crazy,
would
bro?
never actually have
There's
carried
probably somebody you know IRL or someone that you see every fucking day with like a twisted dark side to them. Like someone could wanna like chop me up and eat me, nigga, and I wouldn't even fucking know. There might be a nigga in the back of the kitchen waiting for me to slip up, bruh. Like that's so crazy to think about in hindsight, bruh.
through with it, and that Michael and him were merely role-playing. This is heavily debated to this day,
Hell no,
as
them niggas
technically
is
there
not
isn't proof that any
role-playing.
of these delusions spilled over to the real world. But that's only what we know of, and considering the large quantity of CP in his home, the self-admitted obsession with dead little boys, and the actual plans he had to kidnap and eat a child, it seemed clear
Wait,
that
but
it was
didn't they just said they found a little girl's fucking head in the goddamn oven? There might be a dude in your kitchen plotting to bite that
only
fat
a matter
ass
of
butt.
time before he finally followed through with his desires. For Ronald, there was no defense. And because of this, the judge handed down a sentence of 20 years in 2014,
Nigga, get that nigga
which would wind up
life!
becoming a life sentence.
Thank
as
God!
It appears he passed away sometime in 2020, well before his scheduled release.
Hey, fuck that nigga. Rest in peace, nigga. Smoking that nigga pack. What the fuck?
This discovery changed the entire process
fuck,
surrounding
nigga?
the junction. The wholesome TV tree, only for one of its main stars to be outed as a predator of the most disturbing caliber. But there was one last discovery made by law enforcement in Ronald's case that makes the show that much more chilling. During the raid on Ronald's home, officers found a collection of journals that Ronald wrote in daily, where he obsessively discussed young boys that he had been coming into contact with, highlighting his desire to know what it was like to kill them, and to know how they taste.
What the fuck?
These journals, to my knowledge, have never been released to the public, but the thing I find most interesting about this is the date at which these journals started. 1978, meaning that this disturbing desire had been brewing inside of him for decades. And
That's
coincidentally,
insane.
Joy Junction just so happened to start 1 year later, in 1979.
Yo,
meaning
he was
that
gonna
many
kill one of the
seen
kids on
this
set,
program
bruh.
were likely the very same ones that Ronald wanted to eat. Given
Yeah,
this
as a
context,
cannibal
it's no
priest.
wonder why all parties involved with Joy Junction cut ties with it completely. It just changes the entire feeling of the show.
That's
From the
fucking
moment
insane,
that
bro.
one simple water bottle was identified, Joy Junction's fate
Over
was
a
sealed,
water bottle, too,
and
is
so
even
was
crazier,
Ronald
bro.
Brown's. Still, though, I'm left with many questions after
One
reviewing this
detective
case.
saw a fucking water bottle tied up to a nigga and he got caught. Like, what,
Was
bruh?
there anything more to that traffic
But
stop in
chaotic,
the
fucking,
1980s, or those pizza parties with the kids? and how
Margie, I
serious
think
was
that's what I
Ronald
said.
about following through with his plans to kill C,
And,
with the answer to these questions likely being taken to the grave along with him?
Oh, never mind, just
But
see
what
you.
I
I
find
jump
so
on the stream.
fascinating
What's
about
up,
this
Prank?
case is that the fallout of the raid on Michael Arnett's home is still being felt to this very day. Honest devices weren't just chats from Ronald Brown.
don't say
In fact, there
burglar.
were hundreds of other predators, with officers going on to arrest many of them, some of whom are still in the process of being tried and sentenced. And when reading into some of these other cases involving Michael, it's evident just how serious these people were about their dark cravings.
Yo!
One of these men was even recently caught having built an entire bunker, equipped with torture tools in preparation for his first victim, which
Bro, like, these niggas gotta be, they are sick in the head. But what goes through motherfuckers' brains, bro? You bring up a case like this, and you can already match the face of the prominent suspect. Like, you already know that what they look like is gonna match what the fuck they did, bro.
he planned to share with Michael. On top of all the CP distribution, these fantasies
What you
about
doing on
killing
stream, Fab? I
children
was like,
weren't
what's good,
just
David?
roleplay. These were very real thoughts and very real
Bro, this
plans.
nigga had a
But the
fucking
one
dungeon.
small bright spot
Of
of
course
this
that
case
shit's
is
not just
that
a
the
thought.
2-year-old girl that Michael had photographed in his oven, thankfully, was found alive and well. And he too never got to carry through with eating a child.
Yo, she needs to come out with a story or some shit. That would make for a crazy ass fucking documentary. Like, she was still alive after this nigga fucking put
At
her in
least
the
that
oven.
we know. But his physical abuse against them
Like,
was,
look
in
at this
fact,
nigga. Why do they
very real.
all look the same and got these dumbass glasses? Dahmer had these dumbass glasses too.
Desires
Some
that him
sick
and Ronald likely
individuals,
would have
gang.
acted on had this entire ring never been exposed.
I played Rivals and did reactions for a bit. Tight shit. Yeah, he died in jail.
When it was conceived, Joy Junction was meant to teach children morals, right from wrong. But ironically, many of these lessons just so happened to be taught by a man who was actively engaging in the very behaviors that were condemned by Joy Junction.
Ron, they were looking at some dirty pictures and they wanted me to look too. As
Ironic.
You should have friends who have pure and clean thoughts and will only give you good ideas.
With his actions for
Ironic.
executing the show and condemning it to a lifetime of obscurity, remembered only for the man and his puppet who brought the whole thing down.
As a matter of fact, there's something I want to share right now. Really?
I did it. I did it. It was me. That's what he should have fucking
Don't
said.
go away, kids. Joy Junction is coming right back.
W video, but at what cost, bro? I was not expecting to hear all